What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for January 27th, 2025. 4.0.1 is improving, but will it be ready? We're already getting the next ship sale that will likely set the date for 4.0.1, regardless if it's ready. The Squadron 42 newsletter, though, gave some interesting little Easter eggs in it. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike. Stop by and say hi. If you guys haven't yet, I always appreciate when you do. But before we get into the patch notes, let me share with you today's sponsor. Valentine's Day is closing in faster than a box of discount chocolates, and today's sponsor is bringing you the ultimate wingman. Meet the Handyman in the new special edition Rocket Man colorway from Manscaped. That's right, this video is sponsored by Manscaped, the brand trusted by over 11 million men worldwide for their trimmers, hygiene, and shower formulations, and premium boxers. If the countless guys across the globe trust them, I'm pretty sure your cheeks will too. The Handyman is sleek, powerful, and so compact it can slip into your gym bag or bathroom drawer with ease. Thanks to its magnetic blade cover, you can trust the blades will stay safely locked in place no matter where it travels. Engineered with a unique dual blade, it includes a standard foil shaver as well as a long hair trimming blade to manage up to 3 days of beard growth. For me personally, it works like a week. Consider patchy spots a thing of the past. The Handyman is also equipped with proprietary skin-safe technology designed to help reduce nicks and cuts. I have really sensitive skin, and I have really enjoyed shaving with the Handyman for well over a year now. Whether you are a first-time trimmer or a grooming guru, the Handyman in the special edition Rocket Man colorway from Manscaped is the secret weapon you need in your grooming arsenal. So strap in, gentlemen, and set your sights on legendary smoothness this Valentine's Day and lift off with the Handyman Rocket Man today. Use my promo code SaltEMike and you'll get 20% off plus free international shipping at checkout. Once again, that's 20% off plus free international shipping with promo code SaltEMike at manscaped.com. Thank you so much for engaging with the sponsors, guys. I promise those new videos are coming. Basically, I've just been working on Save Stanton and getting a bunch of accounts done on Save Stanton Phase 1. And now we'll be working on Chapter 2 come 4.0.1 whenever that's ready. So let's jump into those patch notes and hear what happened this week. And early in the week, we had a hotfix for the preview channel, and that's what we'll start with. I'm going to be honest, I haven't touched the preview this week outside of playing a bit of Gun Rush, but they did a hotfix to what they said would solve the most common client crashes, and people in my chat are saying they're crashing even more now, so don't know what's going on there. Tuesday, we had a PTU, and they start out with the usual, doing polish passes on locations, things like that. They did update ArcCorp to have Blackjack and Bounty missions, assuming that these were previously gone due to the mission refactor still being worked on. Let me know in the comments if you didn't see these before, and you are now, because I wasn't doing bounties in ArcCorp at all during the preview. For ships, they upped the health of the Guardian QI's dampener, and they now allow you to replace missiles on the Drake Herald. A bunch of network sync updates and RMQ stuff as well. Hard to tell how this went. My server that I was on testing basically had 7 people on it with 100 total in the shard, and that's basically how my entire PTU phase has gone. So I don't know if this has ever been under any load and how that's going to go. For bugs, we're at it again, but improving. They start to put in potential fix for bugs, and in case they aren't sure if they want additional feedback on them and stuff. I did test the bug with the contested zone components that used to happen. When you hit save, it would just poof and disappear. Now they don't poof and disappear, but if you leave the Moby and come back, they're not actually attached to the ship. I got these Gamma Max power plants from Last Resort and Ruin Station, and same with the Argo Atlas, right? They still are teleporting me and killing me. Took a few tries, but that was just in a few minutes. It would be awesome if the company spent time checking those issues, right? And then they said they did a number of Save Stanton fixes on Wednesday, but I have to say, the missions I did still aren't fixed. For features, they are really starting to do it, though. They're upping the tracking of station turrets, and This could make infiltrating something like SPK require a ship like the Polaris to just tank the damage. But for protecting players from criminal behavior around perceived safe areas, this can also help quite a bit. I got absolutely clapped by turrets in Pyro when I had the hostility bug when I just went to go refuel, right? For bugs, there's a huge fix for hit pip registration. Virgil did a great video on this, showcasing all the issues around it, and said this appears to have been resolved during these PTUs quite a bit. They also mentioned salvage components being able to be saved and placed on ships again. I tested this on Saturday. I looted this power plant off of a 100i VLRT bounty, and it did not work. And it's failing in the same way that the contested zones ones did, basically. So it looked like it was saved, but when you come back and check it, it was not. So I didn't even bother to check contested zone components and see if this fixed those. And lastly, something we mentioned last week, when you failed the jump point, it was not placing you in a punishing position. It would just send you back to the gate. This certainly worked and was pretty darn punishing. For Thursday, the biggest fix from what I had been experienced is marked as a possible fix. I lose priority missions after I fail a phase 2 mission, but it appears that it's whenever you leave the game with one of those missions active. Rejoice. It looks like this is working when basically means you actually get to complete Save Stanton with the 1,000 other bugs that it will have that they force you to basically leave the game before the Lunar New Year patch comes out, which will be kind of bummed out. No feature updates for bugs. They got a pretty annoying one fixed. When you get in a hangar queue to leave, the door kind of opens before the notification comes up, and yeah, that actually works, so good on them for that. Power pips apparently won't randomly switch off. I had this happen a lot on Saturday, so that's not fixed. And they added a decimal point to the UI for our hydrogen and quantum fuel readouts, so we can see more accurately how much we are using. And the Prospector UI has been updated for what, the 6,000th time? It looks slightly better, I guess. I don't know. And then on Friday, we had some Save Stanton fixes, but nothing really stood out as notable to me. But here they are in case some of the issues are the ones you've been encountering. For features, I'm not sure if you understand how impactful this little update actually is. Many of the planets and moons in Pyro and Stanton are either really cold or really hot, and there are only two armors, the Pembroke and the Novikov, which can protect a player from these extremes. They were not available anywhere in the game in 4.0. You had to get lucky and loot one, and it was pretty rare and hard to find. So rock miners rejoice, and anyone doing any outdoor content in Pyro, Pembroke is in Hurston, the Novikov is on Microtech, and Grimhex, I think, has both. For bugs, they are attempting to fix a couple really bad ones. Anyone experiencing insane interaction delay when going to Monox? Yeah, me too, but I haven't experienced it at all this week, so I actually thought it was already fixed. Croncy on the podcast confirmed that it wasn't for him, so who knows what's going on there. MFDs cause a really big hit to your frame rate, and they're trying to get this one down as well, and damage bypassing shields and just hitting the ship's hull when it should not. So that was what we got for this whole week. Not a whole lot of major things. So let's jump into the monthly report. All right, and for the monthly report, let's start out with AI content. The main thing is at the bottom here. They point out that they want more AI in the landing zones, doing more things. I don't know about you guys. I want more players. The AI have been historically uninteresting and generally cause performance issues. Animation, big mention here, is hacking. They are working on the animation, so they might very well be, getting some basic design down. Would love to have to hack doors and ship panels in the future. Of course, Valacar animations were also mentioned and cannot be ignored. Character art, this is a short one, but meaningful in my opinion. Last year, they mentioned the same thing every month because they were working on armor for CitizenCon. But this is mentioning the creation of new armors and variants. I doubt these are for some PowerPoint presentation. They're probably for us. Ship art, another short one with a bunch of ships making their way through White and Gray Box. They are meaningful gameplay related ships as well. Pioneer, Ironclad, CSV-FM, and the Apollo can all have a major impact on the way we play the game when they're released. Core gameplay, this section usually has the most meaningful discussion in my opinion, but this is not really giving it this month. A lot of words. They said basically server meshing was a challenge and something that's so impactful, right? And it's worth it to dedicate time getting the gameplay working with it than anything else, right? So that was Core gameplay, economy, fuel prices were mentioned, but I still don't feel that they're as impactful as they could be, especially as an industry player. Repair costs are certainly higher, but I'm not sure how I feel about them yet. It does make sense that the cost to replace a component should be high, but yeah, balance around mission payouts, because using a missile feels like a net negative whenever you want to, especially in a ship like the Polaris, right? So there's a lot of weirdness going on with the economy, and I don't know. I'm struggling reading these when you see just kind of how off everything is at the moment. Mission design. I'm only pointing this out because the team says they're seeing high completion rates. I've seen this actually said for the last month or so. I have no idea where that's coming from, because it was not my experience at all. I think missions weren't properly completed, or that weren't properly completed were considering themselves as completed, most of the PTU. So let me know if that was your experience. I know you could turn in tons of cargo missions without ever having the cargo, and it would just work, and they're seeing their data saying that they have high completion rates. I think that's a little disingenuous, right? Then for R&D, big chat about getting dynamic weather from CitizenCon is including lightning. That's pretty cool. The clouds and pyro are really awesome, and adding to them, honestly, probably wouldn't hurt. So that was the monthly report. It was for November and December, and yeah, not a ton there. So next month will probably give us a lot more, but for now, it's totally understandable. End of the year, beginning of the year, all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Let's get to the good stuff, right? All right, and as always, we start out for the sneak peek, and it's just marketing material for Lunar New Year, and yeah, a little in-game event. In case you aren't aware of what is in the character's hand, it's an envelope that will be found around landing zones in Stanton, and I'm sure Pyro now, we'll have to see, and you turn them in for a reward. Not sure what's the reward, honestly, because it keeps going up and down with the changes to the economy, but it usually isn't really worth your time. Then we had the Epic Month Ahead post. This is some marketing hype to try to drum up, again, some hype around the extremely broken experience right now. So most of this is kind of funny when you really think about it. Save Stanton Chapter 2 is up first, and in case you aren't aware, it's a continuation of the in-game event from some gang in Pyro doing some attacks in Stanton. Now we go to Pyro to kind of finish them off, I guess, but you have to choose one of the 3 factions to fight for. The rewards are not official yet, but what we do know is that you will get a reward for completing Chapter 2, an additional reward to the Ardor Attrition modded weapons for completing Chapter 1 if you do both, and I think, yeah, something else. I don't really know, but I will be showing off each path on Twitch. I hinted at that I was doing a bunch of Save Stanton stuff earlier this week. I got 3 accounts done, so I'm going to be able to show all 3 paths on my Twitch stream. So stop by and say hi and check that out. That's what I'll be doing when that comes out. And yeah, then more on that in a moment. Next is the Incase You Missed It sale, which is kind of the last chance posts they make during their sales all year, but not really. It's kind of the opposite, because it's never your last chance, because now you always have it in case you missed it. Anyway, they're selling these ships from the last year that they sold, so have at it if that's your thing. They do mention the Red Festival, which again is a Lunar New Year in the game. It looks like this is the year of the pig or the snake or the dog, I don't know. And yeah, it's the only event that has a login reward in the past, so keep that in mind. You might need to just log in to get an additional reward. I'm sure they'll give us the details soon. Naturally, with any event, they do a referral reward, another dragonfly. There will also be a free fly to make the servers even worse than they already are. Really excited for that. Coromore is last, and that is an in-game Valentine's Day event, which usually has some good Arena Commander rewards and pink skins, of course. There is more to the post, more community-related stuff, not about the game, so feel free to check it out, which the link will be down below if you're interested in that. Then we had the Squadron 42 newsletter. So this thing was pretty goofy. Instead of doing the monthly report where we kind of see progress that might come to the PU, we got this. A YouTube video about the music, which granted was kind of cool, and Kronzi clued me into this Easter egg on the podcast this week. Check out Answer the Call if you haven't yet. There's a little sneak to the intro credits in the game. That is very Wing Commander with the funeral scene. Very cool. We got desktop wallpapers, ringtones, and stickers for a game that isn't coming out for like 2 years, potentially. That's just weird. So overall, it was a bit meh in comparison to the Squadron 42 reports, in my opinion, but also pretty neat to see more of the game. And for dev posts, only really one post here worth sharing this week. This was a reminder to complete Save Stanton Chapter 1 if you have not yet. And let me tell you, it is really hard to solo. Join a server and ask anyone if they're doing the Idris, and you might get some help. The only other thing I want to point out is them communicating those possible fixes again, and just go into a little bit more detail for that, right? The priority of the bugs in the known issue list is really cool. This is certainly a better way to communicate if you're going to use your player base as free labor to test these issues. With that said, I talked to a couple devs in my live stream about this issue, and they seem pretty set on fixing their flow internally as well, so we don't have to be their QA anymore, which would be really nice. So they want to be confirming and testing fixes and all that, just like we want them to, and that would be really great. And with that, that's all I got for you this week. So another slow week, another week of me at the end of the show saying I hope next week is better. And yeah, I hope next week is better. So hit the like button, subscribe, and yeah, leave a comment on anything that we may have discussed today, and let me know how you're feeling. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for what is to come. I mean, some of the events are pretty fun, especially the holiday ones. I think they tend to be a good time, but what I'm more excited for is the game being better. So let's get this, whatever this 4.0.1 out of the way, and can we start actually fixing the game and not possibly fixing it? That would be great. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week.